Good afternoon, Patriots. It's Scott here from Woke Societies. I'm not going to lie today. The last 2 days, I have been filled with rage. Seeing what is happening in the Western Hemisphere of the U.S. has got me fired up. Mountains of evidence is pointing to Antifa groups setting fires in the West Coast, and the Dems want to blame climate change, and the Portland FBI and the mainstream media are saying Antifa arson is fake news. The Atlantic wants to cancel the Nobel Peace Prize because Trump has been nominated for it. Rumbles of the Durham probe are wrapping up, and we have over 20 Q drops to cover. Prepare your minds to be blown today with some red pill truth, but first, a word from our sponsor. Today's episode is brought to you by Flip City Magazine, America's Last Laugh. This is the most recent issue, and the new issue will be coming out in a few weeks. The reason why this is great is because it's a comedy satire magazine made by two beautiful people out in California who pour their blood, sweat, and tears into this magazine. And the best part about it, ladies and gentlemen, it is PC free. You can't get much better than that. And just to give you guys an idea of what you're going to be looking at when you open up this magazine, check this out. The top 4 emerging mental illnesses: translingual apoplectic shock, closely related to the phenomena of synesthesia. This causes spoken words to affect the sufferer as if he were violently attacked, occurs only when the words come out of the mouth of someone who disagrees with him. This is some of the funny content you can expect from this magazine. And ladies and gentlemen, look at the price for this. It is 4 issues for $20. You get 1 issue per quarter, breaks down to $5 per magazine. You cannot beat that price. So where do you go to do this? You go right over to flipcitymag.com, which is right here. You'll see their subscription link, and you guys can check out some of the other articles that they have as well. You click the subscription link, brings you to the page, and there you have it. You can buy your full 4 issue print there, or you guys can get the single issue. It's completely up to you. And the best part, they ship international, so the entire world can laugh with us along with everyone here in the United States. So go check them out. It's flipcitymag.com. This is America's Last Laugh. And remember, when you support my sponsors, you are supporting this channel. I'm going to start out with a video today, ladies and gentlemen, from Gavin Newsom. You're going to see the real Gavin Newsom today, blaming climate change on all the blaming climate change for all the fires today. And we're going to start off on a funny note because it's going to be, the way I'm looking at it, it got me enraged. It's probably going to get you enraged with everything we're going to show you, especially with the Q drops, but we're going to end on a positive note this week. But let's take a watch of this video, have a laugh, and enjoy it while we can. And I'll see you guys on the other side of the intro. Take a watch.
Exactly what the scientists have been predicting for half a century. It is here now. California, folks, is America fast forward. What we're experiencing right here is coming to a community all across the United States of America unless we get our act together on climate change, unless we disabuse ourselves of all the BS that's being spewed by a very small group of people that have an ideological reason to advance the cause of a 19th century framework and solution. We're not going back to the 19th century.
Antifa arson is the new climate change.
Thanks for tuning in to the land of the real. But it's like the Twilight Zone, the plan is surreal. It'll blow your mind when the plan is revealed. Bring it all to light, all the plans they conceal. Grab your flashlight, it's time to go down the rabbit hole. It's dark and hell is hot, dealing with satanic souls. The tide is turning, patriots are now in control. Apply aggressive pressure right now until they fold. Stay woke, open up guys and keep them peeled. All they do is lie, realize not everything is real. Through Project Looking Glass, the future is revealed. Future proves past, but there won't be any deals. Woke Society's fam, you know it's time to go. Grab your popcorn, sit back now, enjoy the show. Severe and non on the mic, so come on, enjoy the flow. The wave is rising and you know it's only gonna grow.
Okay, take a deep breath, everybody. I need to certainly take a deep breath. I was fired up this morning for good reason. I love my friends. They've talked me off the ledge plenty of times. More now than ever, we need to show self-control for what's going on in this country. But I was fired up this morning. I was pretty upset. All right. So we're going to start off with some good easygoing stories here. And then we're going to jump right into the Q drops, which are going to take over pretty much the entire episode because there is so much to break down. But starting off with some good news. From Breaking 911, ICE, Brazil federal police arrest alleged leader of major human smuggling organization. I don't have much more context than that on this, but the whole entire point of bringing this up is we all know Ghislaine Maxwell is in custody. We've been seeing these crimes against children rings. I really don't want to say the P word anymore. Crime against children rings coming down at unprecedented levels. And is Ghislaine Maxwell talking and this is why these things are happening? Very well could be, but I have never seen so much human trafficking networks being taken down in my entire life, and especially in the last year. It seems like it's ramping up even more, and Brazil federal police have apparently arrested a major human smuggling organization, has taken down the leader, which is always fantastic news, especially with everything going on with Netflix right now. And you guys saw in my last episode, we are now being blamed for the hashtag cancel Netflix, and it's being brought up in the media by far-right extremists, again, are the ones that are doing this. Again, we've seen these narratives for months now. They're going to blame it. And it's funny because this cancel Netflix was trending on the entire, all social media platforms. So if you're going to sit here and tell me that far-right extremists are doing this on all social media platforms and it's millions and thousands of these hashtags, you can go to unsubscribe to this channel right now because it's completely not true. But it's great to see that major human smuggling organizations are still being taken down and their leaders are being taken down. So it's always a great thing to talk about. Now, something else that's really funny. Donald Trump has brought a third nation into alliances with Israel, and he was nominated for a second Nobel Peace Prize, right? The news came out a couple days ago that he was being nominated for one, again, by a Norwegian far-right extremist. This is how the mainstream media painted it. That was the first one. That came out a couple days. Yesterday, a second one he was nominated for a second one, and The Atlantic, which we have been talking about ad nauseum for 2 weeks, for putting out these hit pieces on Trump, which have been completely debunked. You know what The Atlantic put out yesterday? You're going to laugh at this. The Atlantic literally put out an article saying, end the Nobel Peace Prize. You cannot make this up. The Trump nomination shows that peace had its chance and blew it. I'm not even going to read the article. It's absolute garbage. I just want to point out the insanity of these psychopaths that are at these news networks, these online news networks. It's disgusting. You have a man that's literally has not gone to war with any country. He's taken he's taken troops back. He is taking Iraq, Germany, and Afghanistan, literally removing soldiers from these countries and bringing them back home, not getting into wars with anybody, and at the same time normalizing relations with Serbia, Kosovo, Israel, the UAE, and a third Middle Eastern country just yesterday. They're coming to the table to establish peace. Airspace is opening up between Saudi Arabia and Israel. Things are starting to come. People are starting to come together in the Middle East. But apparently to the Atlantic, Trump blew that already, which is hilarious. And now they want to try to cancel the Nobel Peace Prize. You can't make this stuff up, people. You can't make this stuff up. And the hit pieces keep on coming, as you're going to see. QAnon is now being compared. I'm not even kidding. You can see it right here. They are now being compared to Al-Qaeda. And this was the NBC News article here. 19 years ago Friday, attacks by the Islamist terrorist cult, because everyone was talking about 9/11 yesterday, Al-Qaeda took place on American soil, followed by conspiracy theories that the CIA bombed the World Trade Centers and the Pentagon. These have been thoroughly debunked, but they still have flourished as Al-Qaeda did it itself, until the U.S. took the threat seriously. And as you can see here, as the article keeps coming out, we are being compared to Al-Qaeda and Nazis now. This is where the mainstream media is going with it. And this was just out yesterday, so it's a fresh hit piece. And the most recent one that I could find as well, people have been messaging me like crazy, asking me why qmap.pub is down. I can't get into the app. The man's been doxxed. The owners of the site have been doxxed, and they were shut down. And the article is right here from Zero Hedge. Popular QAnon website shuts down after Citigroup employee and webmaster doxxed and stalked. He was stalked. He was doxxed. He's fighting this right now. And this is exactly why the man that is leading, that takes control of this app, has been doxxed. And this is why it's been down now. And he's currently fighting this as we speak. as we speak, and the attacks just keep on coming. They keep on coming, ladies and gentlemen, and they're not going to get any better from here on out. The next 2 months, a little less than 2 months, are going to be the heaviest months that we've seen. We know this is good versus evil. This is literally good versus evil at this point. And now what I want to do is jump into the Q drops, because we have so much to talk about with what they dropped in the last 2 days. We're going to catch you all up today, and you guys will know exactly where everything is at. And I promise you it's going to be worth it. So where I want to start off today, we're going to start with 4646. And it says, was Mueller brought on to provide cover for illegal 44 spy op? Wall POTUS in a non-attack political box, seek and destroy, lose incriminating evidence. They never thought she was going to lose. Sloppy. Nothing digital is ever lost. And now what is Q talking about with this? News broke out yesterday that the Mueller investigative team, there was 30 plus cell phones that were used during the investigation with messages, emails, text, going back and forth between these investigators for this whole entire Russia hoax. And the best part about all this is these 30 phones were all wiped and scrubbed clean. Tell me the mathematical probability of them all being scrubbed at the same exact time. And this was not in the IG Horowitz's IG report, and that's on them. To me, this blows my mind that this was not brought up before, and I don't know how Horowitz missed this, but this is from Sean Davis, and this is the tweet that was linked. Newly released DOJ records show that multiple top members of Mueller's investigative team claimed to have accidentally wiped at least 15 phones. We now know it's up to 30 phones used during the anti-Trump investigation after the DOJ OIG asked for the devices to be handed over. And I think it's right here. Yes, this is from Paul Sperry. Justice watchdog Horowitz made no mention in his 500-page report of Mueller, Deputy Wiseman, and the 17 other SCO prosecutor agents who wiped their cell phones. And again, they're claiming it was accidental in the exact same manner just before the IG's investigators sought to inspect their phone records. How did Horowitz miss this? And I'm not here to rail on Horowitz, but how do you not mention that in your report, that cell phones all at the same time that were used by the Mueller investigation that were discussing all this Russia stuff about Trump, they just get wiped clean all at the same time, and supposedly they were all accidentally wiped. Can you imagine if this was Trump's team with the supposed Russia collusion, and they had all these cell phones of them talking to Putin and the Russians, and they were all wiped clean? This is the same exact thing that happened with Hillary and her emails, and all the cell phones that were used for that just so happened to be clean and scrubbed as well. Do you want to know what? You want to know how the Mueller team gets rid of cell phones? Watch this. Here we go.
In 3, 2, 1.
I'm sure when Horowitz walked up to them and they said, "Hey, can I get those cell phones?" This is the video that was provided to them. Sorry, man. We all accidentally shot them on a post because God forbid, we cannot show what we said on those things. The whole entire point of this, ladies and gentlemen, this entire Russia hoax thing with Mueller and his investigative team, this was never about having a legit investigation. This was literally to buy more time for these deep state actors to cover their tracks who are all involved with Spygate. That is the crux of the situation here, and that's exactly what happened. This is what they did, and you're going to sit here and tell me that what are the chances that 30 cell phones just happen to be scrubbed all accidentally at the same time? It's super suspect, and it's a huge red flag, and this is why Q is pointing it out. 4650. Actually, did we skip some? We did skip some. 4647. The illegal spy campaign by 44 Upstream Collection went far behind that of 45's transition team. 44 Brennan Lead at Foreign Assist. Matters of national security. All this is telling me is that we know what the Five Eyes countries, being New Zealand, Canada, Italy. There's two others that I just can't remember, but this is literally just saying that all this information, this spying operation, went way further than the United States and our government agencies. This went to foreign assistance, and it was also trying to help Obama as well, and botch Trump's transition team. 4648. This is an Anon post. Says, Q, you always seem to post exactly when I'm most down, and a lot of people have been feeling down lately. Hive mind, thank you and God bless. And Q says, find peace, solace through prayer. There are good people standing behind you. Have faith in humanity. Have faith in yourself. Nothing can stop what is coming. Nothing. God bless. And we'll talk about this a little bit more towards the end of the episode, but I just want to say, Q is again saying these are people, good people standing behind you, and they bring up prayer. The Republicans, the conservatives, and Q are the only ones that still like to talk about God, still like to talk about spirituality, and I am all about that. I have no problem with that. It's good to see that somebody in this country still cares about God and spirituality. So there we have it. It's great to see, and it was a little bit uplifting for me to see, and I know it was uplifting for many others. So keep that in mind, guys. Prayer is a powerful weapon. It always has been. If you don't pray, you really got to start praying. You got to get that prayer warrior up. So 4649. Worth remembering, infiltration and placement under 44. This is just an article linking to a New York Times article back in 2014 where Brennan was spying on a Senate panel, and it's just Q is establishing a pattern of behavior. Brennan spying on senators. We know this whole Spygate operation, Trump's family was spied on. We know journalists were spied on, and others, including Ted Cruz, were also spied on. This is, again, just pointing out a pattern of behavior for Brennan. And I'm not pulling up the article because there's a paywall and I can't read it, and I'm not going to pay for a New York Times subscription. They can go to hell. 4650. This image right here, ladies and gentlemen, has been being blocked and censored on Facebook and Instagram. I know for a fact because I put it on my new fake Facebook profile, and it was immediately censored, and Instagram also censored it. Q writes, the truth is right in front of you. Past playbook used today. Knowledge is power. And the article, all it says is in 1933, Hitler appointed Hermann Göring Minister of the Interior. His first orders were to defund and eliminate police departments so that they would not interfere with his brown shirts, whose mission it was to riot, burn, and beat up and kill citizens in an effort to sway the elections. Wow, doesn't that sound like what's happening right now? And the best part about this is, after Q posted this, the next drop is talking about fact checkers. Fact checkers installed misleading, misinformation, deliberate intent to deceive, anti-narrative, truth about history attacked, altered, reformatted. Why? System of information control, narrative population control, events then, events today, reconcile. And all it's comparing is the use of Antifa. Democrats are allowing these people to do whatever they want. They're burning down their cities. They now just started coming out a couple weeks ago saying that the violence needs to stop, but it's already too late. And it's just pointing out comparisons of what Q, I think, is being talking about. Brown shirts would be the modern day Antifa right now. They're allowing these things to happen. And as it goes on, if this were to enact, if this was to be a perfect mirror of that time, Antifa would then become police officers, and they would become the new police in the state. And then the rest is history from there. They're pointing out these similarities for a reason, because this is how close we are, ladies and gentlemen, for our country being completely taken over from the inside out. And Q is pointing this out. So I know this is some dark stuff. It's not the best. But the fact that Q brought up fact checkers, the fact checkers that is brought up about Facebook, they literally say independent fact checkers have deemed this image as fake or false news, which blows my mind. These paid fact checkers are part of the problem. They have allegiances to whoever they're working for, and they go along with whatever that narrative that they want to push. That is what they're saying there. 4652. Knowing what you know now, and this is a link to an Intercept article here, and this is the one saying where Obama opens NSA's vast trove of warrantless data to entire intelligence community just in time for Trump. Just pointing out the timing of this. This is one privacy activist responded. This decision will be added to the timelines of the most significant expansions of domestic surveillance in the modern era, which allowed all the intelligence community to go into pretty much see anyone's data. Anyone's data, does not matter who it is, even if it was the incoming president. This was done by Obama, and it was done for a reason, because they were not planning on him winning. They were trying to turn up whatever dirt they possibly could on this man, and this is exactly what they did, and that was initiated by Obama himself. So Q is saying, knowing what you know now, does this really surprise you when you look back at these stories? 4653. This is the past 12 hours. And ladies and gentlemen, what all these articles are, It's a summary of these articles, and I'll give you a tidbit of what these were. All the mainstream media was doing yesterday, and I just showed you previously early in the episode that we're being compared to Al-Qaeda. It's been Al-Qaeda and the Nazis, the frightening parallels between QAnon and Hitler's Nazis. And again, this is what they are going for. And this is just 2 out of the 5 or 6 articles that I'm showing here. This was another one up. It looks like I can't pull this one up, but it's fine. All these articles here, you can see just in the hyperlink here what these article headlines are. QAnon, Nazism wants a comeback, anti-Semitism, expert reveals parallels between QAnon and Nazism, and this is what they're going for. Why so many attacks on Q, comparing us to Nazis, when literally we have Antifa and BLM in the streets all over the country, marching with their fist up, with their power fist, and we're the Nazis. We're the ones being compared. It's complete projection. It's a complete gaslight effort on the country by the mainstream media to do this. And Q says, sensitive subject, over the target. Why do they get so upset, and why are they trying so hard to paint us as these Nazis? It's an absolute joke, and we're seeing right through it. 4654. Q writes, well done, Midnight Rider. And this is a link here to a YouTube video. Let me see here. This is not it. That's definitely not it. Let me actually hit the link again. Let me see what happens here. It's actually a link
We cannot continue to rely only on our military in order to achieve the national security objectives that we've set. We've got to have a civilian national security force that's just as powerful, just as strong, just as well funded.
And this is why I tweeted out earlier yesterday. We need a civilian security force just as strong as the national security force or military security force. And we have been building this up now for years. The other Anons that have been here before me, there's plenty of people that were here before me. And this is exactly what Akun's used for as far as the keyboards. And this has been going on for years. And I've seen some of the most intelligent, genius autists that I've ever probably seen in the last couple of years. And some of these people should be working for the government. They are so good at researching and so good at finding things online, these online sleuths. This is what Obama was talking about this before he was elected. So what happened? What changed? He was completely lying, but Q was pointing this out here. Q was pointing this out to the YouTuber saying, well done, Midnight Rider. And it's just a hat tip to all of us saying, we are all Midnight Riders. We are the modern day Minutemen, and we're getting the information out. 4655. Now, here is where we get into the arson and fires with Antifa. Why are D's providing safe harbor, safe zones for Antifa to operate? Coordinated, read the playbook. So what is this? What is going on here? They link Andy No here, who's been on top of the Antifa riots, and he writes here, Mayor Ted Wheeler announced that as a police commissioner, he is banning Portland police from using tear gas under all circumstances. They were previously restricted to using it only on life safety emergencies, such as when rioters do arson attacks. Now, Ted Wheeler is saying they cannot use this at all. They can't use weapons. The police get nailed and crucified for batons. So what are the police now supposed to do? They can't use tear gas. So what is the solution for these people? The same Ted Wheeler that was saying denouncing the violence is allowing these people more opportunity to do more violence. Isn't it a joke? Isn't it a joke? And the other link here that was put out, if you guys hear ad here, just in a minute, it's just you'll see what happens. Hopefully the ad won't play. They link here Fox News. Portland enacts most stringent facial recognition technology ban in U.S. barring public. There it is. Thank you, Fox. Portland enacts most stringent facial recognition technology ban in U.S. barring public and private use. Not only is Ted Wheeler saying no more tear gas, we're also going to take facial recognition technology out of Portland because it's identifying some of these people. It's identifying some of these people. No tear gas, no more identifying these people. Why are you protecting them? This is protecting these people. Protecting these people. And on top of it, this is from the Oregon Live. Hundreds of Portland protesters will see their criminal cases dropped as DA announces plan to recognize the right to speak. These people are being arrested. They get booked and they're in and out of jail in less than an hour. Dem cities are allowing this to happen, and this is what Q is pointing out here. Is this coordinated? Read the playbook. Comparing it to 1930 pre-World War II. Do you see the comparisons? The leaders in these states are allowing these people to rise up and continue their actions, and this is where it's going. This is where it's going. 4656. Again, Q is talking about the definition of renegade, which we know was Obama's Secret Service code name. Just pointing this out again, it says renegade noun, a person who deserts a party or cause for another, an apostate from a religious faith, adjective of or like a renegade, traitorous. And we know renegade means traitor. 4657. Debates. Biden camp will find the excuse/reason to terminate. Biden camp will be provided the questions ahead of time. Biden camp will be provided the questions ahead of time and assistance in the form of a special communication device. So already Q is pointing out that Biden cannot handle his own. He cannot go off the cuff. And we've seen it already where he is literally reading headlines off the teleprompter and he outed himself already. And this has been asked of his team and they refuse to answer questions about Biden and the way he is going to do his speeches and questions. And apparently it's going to be fed to him like a baby. And this is how they're doing it. And Q is already on top of it, pointing this out. 4658. Facebook, Twitter using DARPA provided software to censor and restrict picture content using matching, think reverse image, upload, one to find, locate all cycling fives, adapt and overcome. And this is exactly why, ladies and gentlemen, why I was tweeting out the other night, meme warfare is coming. The Q is giving us a way here of getting around this new technology that's being released from a DARPA technology that is going to track memes. Because at the moment before, memes were you couldn't censor memes because they're images. Memes are probably the most effective way of getting ideas and implanting ideas online right now. And that's why they're so powerful and a huge reason why Trump won in 2016. And they know this. They are literally rolling out technology to track memes to their original source. And then they're going to use that technology to censor and ban memes. So to get around this technology, Q is offering us a way to get around it. And by doing so, you take a black box, you cover 20% of that image. And when the technology reads that image, if 20% of it goes by and it looks like it's okay, it's not going to scan that image and it's going to pass as safe. And they gave us examples of this right here. I'm not going to dive too much into this. This is more for people that can do this on a full-time basis, really for anybody. But this is going forward. This is how we're going to get around that technology. And again, guys, this is what information warfare looks like. Q is giving us the tools to get around this new technology so we can continue to red pill the world up until the election. 4661. Given this information, how much time do we have before they adapt? 2 to 4 days. They will deploy a centralized picture frame approach next. Instructions to follow. And this is just the anons going back and forth talking about how to do this. So we're not going to dive into that. We don't have to go crazy here. 4664. Excellent Q. You should ask every American. And I think this is the article here going back to it. Dems deploying DARPA funded AI driven to information warfare tool to target pro-Trump accounts. And that's exactly what I was just talking about right here. You're going to hear an ad in a second because it's Fox News.
Companies create.
And we're going to get rid of that. So again, this Q is just pointing out in the Fox News article talking about that there is technology coming out to censor directly Trump memes and anything supporting the Trump campaign. 4665. It's a picture here saying tyranny like hell is not easily conquered. Yet we have this consolation with us that the harder the conflict, the more glorious the triumph. Thomas Paine, The American Crisis. Awesome quote. Very patriotic picture, obviously, with the American flag. It's great to see. 4666. See something, say something. And this is the image here. This is where we're going to start getting into the arson with Antifa. Now, everything you're about to see, ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to point this out. These were from local news stations, not mainstream outlets. All local news outlets from these states in these cities that are happening in the local areas. So keep that in mind. Arson. Right now, there are 14 confirmed fire spots, all started between 1 and 5 a.m. Saturday morning. These were intentionally set fires, not caused by dragging chains, abandoned campfires, etc. And this was the story here. And this is only going to get worse from here. Here's another picture, 4667, taking a picture of the forest fires right here. And they're all up the West Coast, and they're all out in Oregon and Washington, and they all seem to be in all in the same area, all at the same time, which is very odd, right? That is very odd. But the weird part about it here, I want to show you guys in this, is this one picture right here. And I'll get into the FBI in Portland because they're the ones that piss me off the most. But tell me, when you look at these fires, look at all these fires. Do you notice something? They don't go past the border. Do the fires in the United States just not like Canadian brush? Do they not burn? The trees don't burn the same way? Isn't that strange that it does not go across the border? How strange is that? How strange. So keep that in the back of your mind. But here's where it gets absolutely disgusting and why I wanted to put my fist through a wall the other day. 4668. This is from the FBI Portland Twitter account. Reports that extremists are setting wildfires in Oregon and are untrue. Help us stop the spread of misinformation by only sharing information from trusted official sources. And here are about 4 or 5 links here, which I'm going to show you from local news stations reporting that arson was happening from extremists. And this is the full the tweet here. This is how serious this is, ladies and gentlemen. Eastern Washington woman arrested for starting fires while crews work to fix fallen power lines. And another one. Arson suspect arrested after allegedly starting multiple fires in Spokane on Monday. And these are just a couple of examples of this happening. And Q gives a whole list here. A whole list. So when you're looking at this and we're seeing evidence of this mounting up, and we're going to see even more in just a moment, you have the FBI in Portland. The FBI in Portland literally saying that this is fake news and to trust only official sources. The FBI. The FBI. We have the FBI and mainstream media now gaslighting the public, saying these are not extremists. This is fake news. Only trust us. Don't trust anything else on social media. We have to stop this misinformation. Shame on the FBI. Again, the FBI's image is completely ruined already because of everything going on with the FISA courts and everything going on with Spygate. But they want to sit there and say, trust us. We had a buddy call the sheriff's office in Oregon and in Portland. And we were asking, we're asking for names. Was this Antifa? And all they said was the fires are real, but we'll have to get back to you on who's actually starting them. And of course, no answer, no callback, no names, nothing. These people either being told by their superiors to keep quiet, they are protecting and hiding what is really going on. And the FBI has the balls to sit here and tell us, like, we're stupid. Like, we don't see what's going on when we see local articles from the actual cities, people on the ground, people that have video, people that have ham radios online online now, recording the conversations of police officers and these people approaching these arsonists. And they're going to sit here and tell us it's all fake news, like we're stupid. Shame on the FBI in Portland. The entire thing is corrupt. All of it's corrupt. And this is why there's channels like mine that exist and many others that are going to point this out, because it's absolutely, absolutely disgusting. 4669. This is a link here to another article that slows my computer down, so I'm not going to pull it up. It's a Newsweek article showing for the first time that police are now given access to cell phones, given their passwords to these arsonists that are going to reveal their text messages, phone calls, and who they're talking to, and how this is all being coordinated. It was just in the news yesterday, and for the very first time, it's happening. We're going to find out very quickly who's behind this and the real truth about behind these fires. The Dems want to sit there and look you in the face and tell you it's climate change. Absolutely disgusting. So disgusting. Let me just look real quick before we go into the other thing here. So yeah, these are the arson articles that I brought up, and just look. I don't know if this is the one that was one of the ones that was setting fires, but do you see these people here, ladies and gentlemen? Her name's Misty Dawn Poole Bohannon, was arrested today in Portland, Oregon, and charged with trespassing and interfering with public transportation. Look at that face. I know it's hard to look at. It's really disgusting because there is a common theme with all these Antifa guys and girls. They're all ugly as all hell. And these are the people that are walking around, burning cities, starting forest fires because they hate this country. People like this. We need to start standing up, people. We need to start standing up. We need to be calling these people out every single day, because these people will not dictate my future, my family's future, my son's future. They will not, and it will not be allowed. I am over it. Completely over it. So 4670. Q just gives a link here to signal.org. So I just told you there was a case here where sheriffs are going to be, if they have a warrant now, they're going to get passwords for phones and to get into them to figure out how these people are communicating. So for the very first time, we are finding out how these Antifa people, these rioters, how are they organizing? How are they communicating without being caught? How are they hiding it? How are they doing this? When you go to signal.org, this is what comes up on the screen here. Speak freely, right? This is a say hello to a different messaging experience, an unexpected focus on privacy combined with all the features you expect. And look at the quotes that we have here from Jack Dorsey. I trust Signal because it's well built, but more importantly because of how it's built, open source, peer reviewed, and funded entirely by grants and donations. Edward Snowden, I use Signal every day. Laura Poitras, Signal is the most scalable encryption tool we have. It's free and peer reviewed. I encourage people to see it. And from Bruce Shiner here, I am regularly impressed with the thought and care put into both the security and the usability of this app. It's my first choice for an encrypted conversation. So you have communication apps here. And just to give you a little bit more background on what Signal is, it's a free download. It was developed to send encrypted text, image, audio, and video messages for individuals and groups. It can also be used for encrypted phone calls between Signal users for mobile users. Here's a quick look at what the app is all about and why there's been a sudden surge in users. And as we scroll down, the app uses its own open source Signal protocol to provide encrypted end-to-end communication between Signal users. That includes encrypted text, group chats, voice messages, photos, and videos for iOS, Android, and PC owners. The Signal Android version can also serve as phone's text messages. Although those text messages won't be encrypted, the mobile version also supports encrypted voice and video calls. You have this app here that is pretty much, that allows you to communicate, and you're completely untraceable by anybody. That's what it comes down to. And Q is pointing this out for a very specific reason, and this is not the first time Q has called out when I say the way of using comms. Remember when I talked about earlier in the year when George Soros and his links to the Star Wars video game and the specific game that we think Como was using, Strzok was using, they were using nicknames and they were voice chatting in game chats that are not tracked by anybody. It's the Wild West out there. This is the second time Q has called out comms being that the bad guys are using, and now it's Signal. And we saw Jack Dorsey, Edward Snowden making quotes on it, saying it's a very good way of communicating while completely staying out of the limelight. It cannot be traced. It's all encrypted messages. All encrypted messages. And when you see the coordination of all this stuff going on here, you wonder how they're doing it and within hours and all these areas within months. And just to give you some more context here, this is from Trooper Ryan Burke. We got another one. Great job, Trooper Morfield. The pedestrian decided to match light the grass at SR 512 and SR 7. Citizen observed and alerted 911. After a short foot chase, one is in custody and is on the way to jail. And there are dozens of these examples, and for time's sake, we cannot just cover all of them. But this is what we're seeing happen all over the place. These people are using this app, groups are using these apps, and they're coordinating, they're being paid, they're being funded, and they're going around and they're starting fires. All starting fires. And a lot of them are being linked to Antifa. Absolutely crazy. We are living in crazy times right now, unprecedented times. Okay. Let's try switching gears here from Antifa fires to some Durham stuff here. We got this dropped yesterday, 4671. This is a link here from a Kevin Cork tweet. Remember when I said wake me when there are indictments and or arrest? Well, a solid DOJ source just told me to set my alarm clock. I said I'll believe it when I see it. Heads up, timestamp is in Central Eastern Standard Time. I don't even know what that is. CEST. And it links the tweet here. And I think it's right here. Here it is. and it got 50,000 likes. Got a lot of likes. But again, this is just saying that there are rumblings going on about the Durham report that we're going to be seeing some results very soon. It could be any time, but Q keeps pointing this out, and we'll have to see what happens. Again, I do not like giving times. I don't like giving dates on anything, because if you're proven wrong, you look like an idiot. But Q is going to continue to talk about this, and here we are with the next tweet, with the next drop, 4672. Signal became one of the top 10 most downloaded social apps in iOS. Talking about this is an image of Jack here, Jack Dorsey, a tweet talking about Signal, and he's saying to download it. And Q is pointing out here, Signal since day one. Did they know? Signal became one of the top 10 most downloaded social apps on iOS yesterday for the first time, according to data from App Annie. The app often sees spikes in downloads during tumultuous political times, but the last time Signal downloads ranked nearly as high was on the day of President Trump's inauguration. Coordinated, analyzed downloads, pre-protest riots, start 60 protest riots, coincidence, now think fire. So Q is pointing out that the download history of this app seems to spike whenever there is there's a lot of political disarray going on, with riots, now with fires. There's always a spike in these downloads. Why is there a spike in these downloads during these times? Because it's a way for these people to communicate without being caught, so they cannot be prosecuted and they cannot get in trouble and arrested. That is the link they're drawing here, and it looks like Jack Dorsey was on top of this way back when this app started. He was promoting it, and is that a coincidence? It is not. It is not, and that's why Q says right here, now think about the fires. Coincidence. It is definitely not a coincidence. 4673, Antifa.com redirected to Biden's donation page, similar to BLM, to the DNC, which we've seen before. I can literally show you guys right here, right now. When you type in Antifa.com, it goes directly to the Joe Biden page. We've known about this for a while. Q is just pointing it out again to let us know, is that also a coincidence? Now, these next two drops, there's been a lot of speculation as to what it means. You can see here for 4674 and 75, Q wrote James Comey treason a bunch of times and John Brennan treason a bunch of times. People are comparing this and saying it's a representation of the Twin Towers. I don't know what it means. People are trying to say it's also a countdown, but the fact that Q is pointing this out, it's again saying James Comey treason, John Brennan treason. Are we going to see these people pay? And are we going to see these people start blaming each other? And is the blame going to go all the way up to Obama? And we're going to have to see what happens. We'll have to wait and see. We'll have to wait and see. But this is why it's on the front of the thumbnail. We're hearing rumblings of Durham's investigation is actually wrapping up. And there was news that one of his aides, you're going to see this in the news if you haven't already, one of Durham's aides was essentially just kicked out. She was kicked out, and the media is spinning it as something that is not what it is. What I have heard about it is that this aide was putting politics into the investigation, and Durham wasn't having it. Durham wasn't having it. She was let go. She was let go. And that should just give you a tell of how down the middle Durham is about this investigation, and that this is not going to be politics. This is going to be straight up law. Did you commit a crime? You're going to pay for it. And remember, it was just an aide, and Durham has a huge team on all this. And it was just an aide, but he let this aide go because apparently her politics was getting involved in the investigation, was not having it. So we'll have to wait and see what comes of that. 4677, again, another picture here where Q says not organized. And the picture here again, this is from a Facebook post. Some of you still think we're not being under attack. I found this individual walking in my property as I was driving in. All he had were some matches in his hand, walked him out of my property at gunpoint, and then when he got to some asphalt ground on the main road, made him lay down while the cops arrived. Had my husband been here, he would have been dead. He has got multiple warrants, one of them being assaulting a police officer. Is this fake news, FBI? Is this fake social media? But you know what? It's fake news. It's fake news. We need to trust the government. We need to trust the Portland FBI. Because apparently this is all fake. These people are trying to destroy our country. Trying to destroy it. They're not even hiding it anymore. 46 78. And Anon writes to Q. Q, I'm in Oregon City, Clackamas County, level 2 evacuation, terrified. Fires raging everywhere. I've been posting to you here for about 2 weeks about these fires. It is real. The rednecks around me are on alert. The others are completely brainwashed. There is no hope for them. Their eyeballs are no longer connected to their brains. Like 90% of people are hopelessly brainwashed by the media. Q says, stay safe, be vigilant. And here's a picture of Sammy Scott Piat. And the charges here are arson and probation violation, felony possession of body armor. And this was, let's see here. This was yesterday, his arrest. Just yesterday, arrested for arson. But again, ladies and gentlemen, this is all fake news. Remember that. And last drop to cover, ladies and gentlemen, today, 4679. And Anon writes, oh, this came out today. So this is brand new. I didn't even see this one till now. Arson is extremism, and Q puts an alert out here, or a screenshot. It says, never in my life did I think I would witness a domestic terrorism attack, especially right behind my house. We heard fireworks, walked out and saw giant flashes, and then a whole house engulfed in flames. A random car fire bombed it on Jennings, and I pray the family got out. Trying to keep my wife and daughter calm while quickly loading what we could to escape was hard. Watching suspicious cars full of people slowly driving up and down the street while trying to load, hoping nothing is thrown at us, is terrifying. I hope no one has to go through this, and whoever's doing this, just stop. Do you really want to murder innocent families? Everyone keep your head on a swivel, watch your streets, neighbors, and most importantly, protect your family and everyone you can. Reading these messages and doing what we do gives me almost... It's an extreme burden, because the whole entire point of me getting into this was to get the truth out there. And what I'm seeing happening is these people, Antifa, these extremists being allowed to overtake and just continue to move. They're moving out of the cities, and they're talking about fireworks. Where have we seen fireworks before? I think we saw fireworks being used multiple times by Antifa to shoot at the DHS officers and buildings, and used commercial grade fireworks to start fires, attempted fires in courthouses. And now all of a sudden fireworks are being used to start forest fires, shooting them into people's homes, families' homes, and burning the forest all around them. It's very hard to do this sometimes, because sometimes you just want to go outside and go engage these people, but we can't. We can't. And this is why I was saying before, self-control right now is the biggest key. Q has said to trust the plan. I trust our president. And right now, to be completely honest, ladies and gentlemen, I think keeping regular people like you and me, the patriots, the people that love this country, from going outside and engaging these people, I believe is attributed to a lot to Q existing. Q helping us navigate these waters, saying, just keep praying, be still, be vigilant, and we just got to keep staying the course. That is where the faith is right now, also on God. Don't ever get me wrong. I'm no atheist. But this is what we have to keep the faith. We have to keep our heads, we have to keep our eyes on the prize. We have to get this president reelected. And we have to keep faith that these people will be taken, they'll be dealt with, and this carnage will stop, and we're going to come out on top of this. That's what we have to place our bets on right now. That's where we need to put our faith in right now. We've been called to be digital warriors. We're not going out in the streets to engage these people. It's not going to do anything, because whatever coverage you would get, it'd be tainted by the mainstream media anyways, and you're going to get ousted, and then you get doxxed. It's not even worth it. I hope to God it doesn't have to come to a time where, it moves past the whole idea of being a digital warrior into something else. I hope to God that never happens. I don't want that to happen. But we need to stay safe. We need to stay vigilant. And I thank you guys for joining me today. This was a hard episode for me to do. I'm surprised I kept my cursing down to a minimum, to be completely honest. But it's just really hard. And to end up, just to give you some extra context here, this is from Multnomah County Sheriff. We are at loss for words. Deputies and Corbett Fire responded to a small brush fire in the 1700 block of northeastern Browser Road in Corbett. Neighbors heard pops and saw 6 flames in the forest. Using a shovel and water, they were able to put it out. Deputies found fireworks. These people are letting these forests on fire, and the Dems want to call it climate change. They want to continue to ignore the problems and allow this to happen. They're going to be dealt with. We're going to have faith. Thank you guys for joining today on the episode. Thank you everybody on the podcast for listening and downloading the episode. You guys were great. If you haven't already, go to the Woke Society's YouTube page, like, share, subscribe, tell your friends and family. We are the news now. If you want to become a diehard fan of the show, go to my Patreon. You can sign up for one of the tiers here. You can donate $1 a month, $17 a month. It does not matter, guys. This is keeping the channel afloat. This is helping me do this full time, so I appreciate it. If you guys want to check out my shop, go to my store link in the description below. Check out all the new merch that we have, and when you do new to old, it'll show you all the brand new merch. And then where we go on, we go all shirts, V-necks, hoodies, hooded sweatshirts, all the water bottles, hats, so many things for everyone, both sexes, and all that good stuff. And all American-made products, and it goes back to support 2 local businesses here in New York. So thank you everyone again. Enjoy your weekend. It's been a heavy end to the week, and we're just getting started. Obviously, I have a full slate of shows for next week. We might be increasing them, and we're going to have to see what happens. But so many exciting things to happen. Thank you guys for your support. And as I always say, stay safe, stay warm, and stay woke.